Thank you for joining me today as we discuss what I consider to be an extremely important topic, recovery-friendly workplaces. And today specifically, we will be focusing on changing the workplace culture to support recovery. We all know the impact that this pandemic has had on working families, so this topic is more relevant now than ever before. To give us an in-depth look into this topic today is Ariana Williamson, advisor for the Wilkes County Recovery Friendly Workplace Initiative. Welcome, Ariana. Thank you so much for taking the time to enlighten us today on this very important topic.
Hi, thank you so much, Penny. I'm so glad to be here.
Great. Ariana, please start us off by telling us about this important initiative and how you became involved.
Definitely. So our initiative is housed with Wilkes Recovery Revolution. We are an accredited recovery community organization, which means that we're a nonprofit organization, that we're committed to providing free recovery support services for our community, and that we're staffed by certified peer support specialists. And so those are trained professionals who have lived experience with substance use and mental health challenges themselves. And so as we've been providing recovery support, we started in 2016. Our executive director, Devin Lyle, and programs director, Jeff Walker, realized very quickly that employment support was a very valuable piece of recovery support. Mm-hmm. They started Project How, Healing Our Workforce, which is a program dedicated to doing exactly that, providing that educational attainment opportunity and employment support for individuals in recovery. And as we did that, we realized we needed to do the same thing for employers to help them navigate the effects of substance use on their workplaces. So the Recovery Friendly Workplace Initiative has three main goals. The first is to combat stigma about recovery within the workplace. The next is to get resources, training, and information to valued employees and staff about recovery and wellness. And the last is to support those employers in navigating the negative effects of substance use on their employees and in the workplace.
That's fantastic. So can you elaborate on how you personally became involved, Ariana?
Yes, I came on, I'm the project coordinator for Project How. And so I'm working with individuals on taking advantage of those employment opportunities, those educational attainment opportunities. So we offer soft skills training like communication and advocacy for individuals in recovery. And then I also have done the research that led up to the launching of this initiative. So working within a community of practice involving over 25 states and territories in Canada to share best practices and get a really good understanding of recovery in the workplace in our country.
Wow, that's all fantastic. I'm really excited to learn more about this because this is just something that this country needs so desperately. So you mentioned that it's throughout this country and even in Canada. So is there a track record of success that you could point businesses to who may question its effectiveness and legitimacy?
Definitely. We are so lucky to be operating with the guidance of initiatives that have been in existence for a while now. Those include the first ever recovery-friendly workplace initiative of its name, which is from the state of New Hampshire. The state of Nevada, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania all have state-run initiatives. And then there are a number of community-based initiatives like our own that are already in operations. So through this community of practice I mentioned, we're all not only sharing best practices, but sharing things like survey tools and data collection methods so that we're able to compile the data and really get a good picture of what recovery and wellness can look like in the workplace across the nation. SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration, it's a branch of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The National Safety Council, the Peer Recovery Center for Excellence are all organizations that have committed themselves to compiling, analyzing, and sharing data about these initiatives, about their effectiveness, and about how wellness is really at the root of recovery in the workplace.
Wow, that's fantastic. We know, I think everyone is aware that businesses of all types, of all sizes, are really struggling to meet their staffing needs. So if I'm a business owner or a business leader, is there a reason why I should consider becoming a recovery-friendly workplace?
Absolutely. We all know that this pandemic has brought more issues than just health and wellness. We know that the Great Resignation and the hiring crisis are names for what's happening to employers right now, where people are retiring, leaving the workplace. More positions are required. We need more job seekers. And so our initiative is a little bit different than other workplace programs where we don't require any number of positions for people in recovery. We don't require you to hire anybody in recovery. What we're really doing is supporting employers to make sure that they can retain a healthy workplace.
Ah.
70% of people who use substances are already employed. So this is something that's happening in every workplace. And so when we can retain a healthy workforce, we can train them and tenure them through our organization. We have more success with combating some of these other negative effects like lost productivity, missed days of work, and turnover, which can occur when substance use is present.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, this is such a worthy and impactful cause. Is there support for businesses who do become a recovery-friendly workplace?
Absolutely. We are really proud of the program that we've put together. And so right off the bat, because we're housed within the Recovery Community Organization, we have peer support specialists on staff. What they can do is help to navigate resources with your employees. So not only looking at the benefits they have, the different options for treatment and support, whether that be housing, transportation, or direct recovery support, we can have them at our recovery center in West Park Plaza in North Wilkesboro, or we can send peer support specialists to you. One success recently our initiative has enjoyed is the ability to send somebody to meet an employee who was in crisis on the work floor. And that was absolutely incredible. They were able to regain composure, to get help outside of the workplace, to continue their journey toward health. And they're still a valued employee within that workplace. And so beyond those services, we also used our peer support specialists and over 50 local employers to help us compile a toolkit that goes through best practices for communication, best practices for sharing about health and wellness within the workplace, because it can be complicated depending on what your scope of practice or industry may be.
Sure. That's fantastic information, but I love hearing success stories like that. That's phenomenal. And it just makes me so happy for the beneficiaries like that. So are there changes that a business needs to make in order, within their workplace to accommodate anyone they hire who is in recovery?
So that's a complicated question because 23 million Americans are in recovery, actively, proudly sharing with the world that they are in recovery. 1 in 3 individuals in the United States is affected by substance use. So that means that you probably are already hiring people in recovery. Substance use is more of an issue than recovery is by any means. People in recovery miss less days of work. They're more productive when they're there. And the National Safety Council shares that they can save an average of $8,500 per year because of these qualities. So more than focusing on big sweeping changes, our initiative recommends things like a regular review of policy and practices that may be contributing to substance use or recovery. Open and honest communication practices with your staff. For instance, one of the required components of joining our initiative is making a declaration to your staff. If the one activity that you're able to achieve right now is letting your staff know that you support recovery, that you value them, and who their direct line of contact is should they need to come forward for support, that is an enormous step in the right direction. And we really love what we have seen with innovation and the impact that has come from this step of designation for our designated workplaces.
Wow, that has to make anyone in the workplace feel so good when they hear their employers showing that amount of care and support. That's phenomenal. So Ariana, for business leaders who may be thinking this is a great cause, I like the sounds of it, I'd like to be able to support it, but the idea of making these big changes in the culture and all of this that I would need to change just sounds like it's too much. How would you respond?
First of all, I would say that that is absolutely okay to feel that way. It makes complete sense. And if this initiative isn't the right fit for your organization, we are in no way going to label you unfriendly to recovery or stop sending job seekers from our workforce programming your way. The next thing that I'll say is something that I learned from you, Penny, and that is that if you don't have an active hand in controlling your workplace culture, in trying to keep up with it and change it and make it fit for your employees, something else is controlling that workplace culture.
Right.
And so if you want to value recovery over substance use, wellness over unhealthy practices, then this initiative is for you. And again, as I mentioned, if all you can do right now is make that declaration to your employees so that they know who to come forward to, whether that be you as their manager, HR staff, somebody else on the workforce, like a peer employee who is in recovery themselves, or if it's Wilkes Recovery Revolution at our R3 Recovery Center, where our peer support specialists work, that's an amazing step in the right direction. And so it's really up to the workplace how engaged they get, what their needs are, and we're ready and willing to work with any workplace on taking steps in the right direction.
That's phenomenal. Thank you for that.
And I would like to share that our first 7 designated workplaces have been enjoying our services since January of this year, and we're just so excited as more and more workplaces are working with us to earn that designation.
Fantastic. That's really good news. This has really been very enlightening, very encouraging and informative. So thank you, Ariana. I'm confident that as more business leaders learn of this initiative and become familiar with the work you're doing, that they'll wholeheartedly support your efforts, and the community as a whole is, of course, going to benefit. So thank you, Ariana. Appreciate it. And for more information, for those of you watching, for more information about the Recovery Friendly Workplace Initiative, please visit recoveryfriendlync.com or wilkesrecoveryrevolution.com. Also, Ariana's contact information will be on your screen shortly at the end of this video. So be sure to reach out to her for more information. I know she would love to help you out. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks, Ariana.
Thank you.